Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Wasteland Talks, my weekly talk show where I talk about whatever the hell I want. And this is my last episode of my debrief of 2025, and this is always my favorite, this nice little tradition that I have with my buddy Matt here.
Hey, man.
As we do our top 10 films of the year. So yes, we've been doing this for quite a few years now, and we're going to count down 10 to 1 for Matt's list, 10 to 1 for my list, and some honorable mentions for the year 2025. So Matt, how about you get started with what's your number 10?
My number 10 was The Long Walk. Great movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was two Stephen King books that got adapted this year.
3, actually.
3?
Life of Chuck, The Running Man, and The Long Walk.
Also, Welcome to Derry was a fantastic show, too. Very dark for a lot of reasons.
Stephen King adaptations, big in 2025.
Yeah, that was very interesting. So I ended up reading the book as quickly as I could. Mm-hmm. It's a really rough book.
Is it?
It's a really, really rough book because you are just with these characters on this very solitary road and solitary plot. And there's not really that much like periphery. And then kind of sort of in a way when they're trying to kind of like escape into their own like I don't know, their own like fantasies, because they really only thing they do is keep walking, and then eventually, some stuff happens, which is actually different than the movie, but kind of the same thing with the movie. You are with these characters, but it's never exhausting where it's kind of like, all right, let's get to something else. Like, it is riveting, but it's just really probably the bleakest thing I've seen outside of the ending of Begonia, which isn't on my list, but that was also really bleak. Yeah.
But also very funny.
Yeah.
The ending of that was very funny in a very dark and twisted way.
Yeah, but Long Walk, fantastic. I recommend the book, but the movie was great. And also I really like both actors.
Cooper Hoffman and, was it David Johnson?
I think so, yeah. The guy from Romulus.
Yep.
Alien Romulus.
They're both fantastic. David Johnson was a star. I love the whole ensemble. They all do an amazing job. Charlie Plummer and Ben Wong from The New Karate Kid.
Mm-hmm.
And just the whole ensemble there. Judy Greer in like 2 scenes or so rips your heart out. And then Mark Hamill, I've seen a lot of criticism of his performance in this. Like, he's obviously like over the top and like really chewing it up. But, he's a pretty evil dude. And I think Mark Hamill portrays that. It's really the ensemble, these young men and their characters. And I was really impressed by what Francis Lawrence did directing-wise with this, making this so engrossing just watching a bunch of young men walk. And that going up the hill sequence at night is one of the most uncomfortable sequences in any film this year. And Jess cried half this movie. While we were sitting there in the theater. This is an emotionally devastating movie, and it'll rip your heart out. And what it has to say about fascism and authoritarianism and the spirit to rebel against it. It was really powerful. It's my number 3 of the year. It really blew me away. And look, like, it's not the kind of movie where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to watch this again. It was so much fun, but I can't wait to experience just this visceral cinematic experience again.
Completely agree.
How about number 9?
Number 9 was something incredibly different. K-pop Demon Hunters. Like, it's so interesting. Like, this movie came out, how many months ago, and yet there's still like the 3 people that were like doing like the singing inside for the film. Like, they're still doing like shows and like.
This stuff blew up.
Like, in parades. I was like a little bit late to the party, and I just said, why not? Like, I have like a random Sunday, I can just like throw this on, and my girlfriend and I we were watching it, and wow, it is funny. It has heart. I don't even know, like, the idea of, I'm imagining like the filmmaker saying, okay, so we need to have like hits inside of the universe of the movie, and for those to actually be like, no, we're going to set out to actually make like incredibly like earworms. Like
the music in this movie is incredible.
Yeah, like so, like they hit it out of the park. They set out to do something, and obviously the whole world is like singing these songs. It's great. I feel like I wonder how many people decided to like learn like Korean and like go on like Duolingo and stuff like that just because
they better do a medley of this at the Oscars. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
The animation, great. The big fantasy horror-ish elements of it, great. The music's incredible. It has a really powerful story and has some twists and turns along the way. I was actually early to the party because I had a screening link for this. And I remember watching this being like, dang, that was way better than I thought this was going to be from a Netflix, like just a random Netflix animated movie. I'm like, I hope this catches on. It kind of did. It just blew up. Like, this dropped in theaters randomly for a weekend and made like $20 million. It's crazy.
Is there like a sing-along version too in theaters?
Of course they did. But no, this is one of the best animated films of the year for sure, and it's just infectiously fun to watch. I've watched it twice now. We wound up watching it for one of our movie marathons that we do, but it's pretty great.
Yeah, no, fantastic.
How about number 8?
Number 8 goes to Zootopia 2.
Zootopia.
Oh man, Zootopia. All right, so on the surface, it's a kids movie about like a buddy cop comedy slash there's like some dramatic elements, and it's like tinges of kind of like thrillerish aspects, and it's kind of like it's kind of like it's like I don't know. It's just very interesting seeing these two characters like play off each other. So I was excited to watch this movie the second time with the sequel. Still great, the chemistry of all the actors, but especially Jason Bateman and whoever does the
Jennifer Goodwin.
There we go. Fantastic. So that's on the surface. Under the surface, the first one had a lot to do about race relations, or at least my takeaway from it is like race relations, and like and the second one has to do a lot of, I guess, somewhat with that, but then also about I guess like classism.
Yep.
And it was really, really fantastic. Like it's interesting to think these filmmakers saying, okay, so here's the pitch. We are going to discuss all these like really like heady concepts inside of a Disney film, with talking animals, and we're just going to say people are just going to be like along for the ride. And obviously, it ended up like, how much money did it end up making?
Oh, it's not even done yet. It's still in the top 5 at the box office, and as of this weekend's almost cracking $1.6 billion.
Is it? And I think like it's making all this money in China, and it's like Year of the Snake or something like that.
Yes,
too.
It is the highest grossing Disney animated film ever. And it's the second highest grossing animated film ever behind Ne Sha 2 that came out this year that has made $2 billion. Mostly in China. It's made like less than 1% of its box office in the United States. It didn't really make a whole lot of money here, but like, no, Zootopia blew up in China. Love the first Zootopia. Took way too long for them to get around to making this sequel, but it was well worth it because like, I think this was certainly on par, or if better than the first movie. And you know, that chemistry between Jason Bateman's fantastic. Jennifer Goodwin is so charming, and the morph of their dynamic to now they're friends and partners, but have to set expectations and boundaries on their friendship, and that's what puts strain on it. And the expanding of the world building, like the ice area, we only got briefly with the Itham, the little the mole and the polar bear, which the reference to that again in this movie was fantastic because now there's a little grandbaby involved, and
you love that.
It's so much fun. And then Andy Samberg's character has some interesting elements to him. Ke Huy Quan is fantastic as the snake in it. And I love the like Bayou Marsh area, like hey bub, and I thought that the conspiracy theorist Beaver was going to potentially be annoying, but she was actually a really fun character.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny Trejo running lizard across water.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was the voice. Yeah,
It's funny. It's thrilling. It has good mystery. It has a lot of great subtext to it. It's another win. And they do big tease to a third one with birds. So there we go. I wonder if there's like a Sky City. That'd be wild. Also, we got more Shakira.
yeah.
So,
Was there like a new song or something? Like
yeah,
that?
Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
Zoo by Gazelle. But yeah, this is great. This is my number 2 animated film of the year behind Arco, the one from Neon from France. But I'm pretty sure it's a 2-horse race at this point between Zootopia 2 and K-pop Demon Hunter. So we'll have to see what wins out. But Matt, what's your number 7?
Number 7, we're going to go with Chainsaw Man. Okay, so the way that it works is that, if I'm doing this correctly, season 1 of this anime came out, I don't even know how many years ago at this point. It's weird when anime or anything takes so long in between. And then instead of doing the next arc as a whole season or something like that, they decided to make a film, and then I have no idea when like new episodes are going to come out. They do that sometimes, kind of like with Demon Slayer and other things. So I was like, oh, okay, why not? Like it'll like tide me over to like the next season. This movie was fantastic. It is creepy. It is romantic, but in like a disturbing and sad way. I don't even want to spoil anything necessarily, but I'll just say it's fantastic. It's a really great movie. If you like anime, then definitely watch it. Though, if you haven't seen the show, it might be a little bit inaccessible. I don't know how. Did you see the show before watching? So
and I still love the movie. So.
Excellent. Okay, so then
I think they do. I think they like. Obviously, I don't have a ton of context, but I think they do a good enough job to get the basic gist of who these characters are. Like the main character's kind of a slut. Just a little bit, and he's
just stumbling through life, just stumbling.
Yeah, he's just trying to live his best life, marathoning movies at a theater with this goth emo cinephile girl, and then having fights with demons, different types of demons, and it's violent, it's ridiculously over the top and crazy and thrilling.
You're
the action.
Shark.
Movie's wild.
Yeah.
It is. That was one of the most unexpected. Between that and, what was it? Why am I blanking? The other really big anime that came out in theaters that everybody... Demon Slayer. Between the two of them, it was a crazy year in theaters for anime, which... Those were both really worthwhile movie-going experiences for me, for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. Watching anime is... I mean, it hasn't been like a very small niche thing for like a long time, but it is huge
yes,
now.
They make bank every opening weekend for anime now, which is really cool. Love to see it. Demon Slayer's made a shit ton of money.
My theater was packed. And I didn't think that it was going to be that case like at all. It's like, is this like a Marvel movie?
The weebs won out.
Yeah, like people were cheering and the thing. Yeah, it was crazy. Fantastic time.
How about number 6?
Number 6 is Predator: Killer of Killers. You can watch that on Hulu.
Another amazing animated movie that came out this year, but got unfortunately relegated to Hulu.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting because like you would think that because of all the hype that Prey had, you would think, okay, they put this in theaters.
Well, Prey got dumped on Hulu too.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. Kind of like, why not?
It's a contract issue.
Oh.
If I'm not mistaken, if they release 20th Century Studios films in theaters, a different streaming service gets the rights to them. Because of the contract Fox had when they bought it.
Interesting.
So they'd rather just dump on Hulu and not go to theaters. Luckily, they put Predator Badlands in theaters because that was badass. But this would have been really cool in a theater. But continue.
Yeah, this movie... So I knew that I was going to like it just because, A, I've seen like a bunch of the other Predator movies. But then also, when I saw Prey... it made me think, oh wow, like this is like a shot in the arm. Like this is
Yeah.
fantastic filmmaking. Same with this. The idea of a Viking, a ninja, like this, like
and a fighter pilot,
and a fighter pilot, all from different time periods, not being able to speak each other's languages, and then having to work together in order to fight.
The Predator homeworld.
Yeah, on the world, because it was funny. Like when they get there, I thought that the movie was going to end, and then I touched my remote and I was like, oh wait, it's like 20 or 30 or so, whatever, like more minutes left, and it's like, oh, okay, this is fantastic. Each story could have been its own either short film or like blew up or as in its own like feature, and it would have been fantastic for them to be all in a row.
I would be open to them doing more anthology films like this, or even making a series where it's like each episode is
like a different one.
There's so many possibilities. Pirates, samurai, Celtic warriors, Germanic tribes, Roman legions, all of them. I want them all to be fighting predators.
I mean, by the end of the movie, like, there's only going to be something.
Like, at the end of the movie, that tease at the end, I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was crazy.
They better go somewhere.
Yeah.
There's one particular actor who better be coming back for a new Predator movie.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. And let alone in animation, this has some of the best action in any movie this year.
The fight choreography, especially, I'm thinking about the first story, The Shield. I've never seen a shield used as a weapon in such an interesting way, because she didn't have a sword. At least she didn't primarily. She was it was great. It was great.
It was an amazing year. As somebody who's loved Predator for a long time, the Killers of Killers and Badlands are two of the best Predator movies and some of the best sci-fi action movies we've gotten in a long time. And devoid of you thinking about animation or not, this movie kicked ass. And honestly, it's a shame that it dropped on Hulu because it's not eligible for Best Animated Feature. Because if it were in theaters, that should be in there, like 100%.
Completely agree. All right, my next one is Bring Her Back, More Blood.
Oh my.
Okay.
Different type of movie.
Yeah, definitely different type of movie. All right, so Bring Her Back is a horror film. Its two protagonists are these two kids who, after a really traumatic situation, are now in the care of Sally Hawkins, is her name, right? As a foster parent.
Sally Hawkins adding herself to that list of horror movie performances by women that are never going to get acknowledged.
Yeah, that
Except Amy Madigan tearing that shit down with weapons.
With weapons, yeah.
But continue.
Sally Hawkins is a really, really terrible villain. Like, I'm thinking of, like, the reason why... Well, actually, I'm not even going to say that, never mind. But she just does a lot of incredibly wacky, terrible things, and it's so devoid of, like, humor or kind of, like, tension cutting, so this movie just keeps ratcheting up more and more and more. And then when you finally figure out, like, why is she watching these really abstract, grotesque tapes, and when you find out, like, oh, what is she actually going to do to these children, or at least one of them, it's just really disturbing. And
then you realize that, like, she has these she has very human reasons for doing all these incredibly inhumane things. And that's what makes it so much more complicated and interesting. Matt, all I'm going to say is knife and teeth.
Yeah. Gross.
Nope.
That was probably the most disturbing thing I've seen all year in the film.
That legitimately was one of the hardest things for me to actually look at in a movie this year.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
No. The Filippo brothers, these two Australian guys, man, talk to me. And then they're like, A24 just knows how to find horror filmmakers and just let them cook. And I can't wait to see what the third movie that they're going to wind up doing is, because they're 100% on my radar now, for sure.
The only thing that pissed me off was the ending, I'm not going to say, but what they decide to do with one character, and it's like, Ah, come on. But also, like, in a
Oh.
movie that this bleak, it makes sense for certain things to not happen and not have, like, I don't know.
I've never been more mad at a puddle since Glass.
Yeah. Just punch a puddle.
Goddamn puddles.
Yeah.
I was just like Charlton Heston it. Damn you!
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
slam fist down on puddle. But what's number 4?
Number 4 is Warfare.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Also bloody. Wow, there's a lot of really like crazy movies that I have on my list. All right, so Warfare is an Alex Garland directed / co-wrote, I think,
He
with
co-directed with,
co
with Mendoza, who's an actual
there
veteran.
we go. Mm-hmm.
Who does it feel like it? Mm,
Yeah.
I saw this. My press screening was in Dolby.
Oh, okay. It wasn't a press screening when I saw it, but yeah, the sound. I felt like it was well,
You feel like you're in a war zone, and you
Yeah.
feel like if anything else, this movie is unmatched in like you thought that the opening of Saving Private Ryan was visceral and made you feel like you're in a war zone. Like this takes it to a whole other level.
it's probably one of the most like haunting things that I've seen in a movie this year is when the guy that played Johnny Storm and
Oh, I can't stop hearing Joseph Quinn screaming.
yeah, oh man, that or when I think it's the kid from Heartstopper. Where he's like he has this gun and he's like shooting it, but it's the way that because he like his eardrums are basically it's like blown out, so like he can't really hear like what's happening, but he's like still shooting and he's like shooting into just like into dust because like there's a bomb just like went off, but also he knows that he's not alone, so there's people around him, so he's like shooting, and it's like the way that the sound design of just like chikum 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 like it's crazy. Interesting ensemble. I'm really excited for the careers of all these gentlemen.
Because what is it?
There's a guy
Charles
from
Melton and Will Poulter.
there's a guy from
and
Reservoir Dogs that was also on Hulu. Hulu's pretty awesome actually.
Yeah, FX on Hulu, some of the best television you're gonna find. But no, he's fantastic, and I can't wait to see that kid in more stuff. But no, and he was the main character. Like he's the stand-in for the director, if I'm not mistaken. But like, this is one of the most unbelievable technical achievements this year in filmmaking. And I've heard a lot of people saying this is all like rah-rah war and stuff like that. No. Like, it's very clear that it shows not only the horrible things happening to these soldiers, but also like the total disregard of respect for the people there. Like they just take over their homes without questions asked or anything, and then just leave everything a complete mess. And I think it's a very eye-opening. Like this was just destruction and mayhem, and death and horror, and that was what Afghanistan and Iraq were like. And it's just like, nope.
Yeah, I don't feel like when I was watching it, I never got like a message of like this was like glorifying anything. Like it's not even like morally gray. It's kind of just like these are real people in a real situation having to deal with like a very violent intrusion from soldiers coming into their home, and those soldiers are also real people having to like follow orders, some of which that they don't even agree with, and all this others. Yeah. It's really it's a rough watch, but also probably it's the best of the year. Also really interesting. That's his follow up to Civil War, right? Yeah, so that's also an interesting.
He's taken a really hard left turn after Men, and I think a lot of people are happy about that because a lot of people hated Men, but I'm one of the few people that thought that was a really impressive movie. Really weird, but like it's so interesting seeing Alex Garland going from Ex Machinas and Annihilations and Devs and Men, and then completely shifting gears into Civil War and Warfare. I'm glad that he came back and wrote 28 years later and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to seeing him going back and doing genre stuff again, but like I've been impressed with what he did with Civil War and Warfare for sure.
Definitely. All right, let's see. We have number 3, Weapons. Okay. What has not been already said about Weapons, especially the ending? I don't even know. This movie
probably one of the most entertaining and satisfying moments in a movie theater I've had all year. My press screening was packed and people were cheering.
Same. People were clapping. People were clapping. Again, it was almost like watching a Marvel film. But this was straight up horror.
And also absolutely hilarious. At the same time.
What is the guy, the
Aaron Abrams, the druggy kid?
Yeah. When he's getting like thrown around by Josh Brolin, it's like flipped over and he keeps like running towards him.
And then the scene where he goes into that one place and sees the reward poster and like the realization on his drug like fried brain and everything. This movie is so mysterious and so twisted and takes you in these places that you don't expect. I jumped out of my seat for that one ceiling jump scare. Literally, like, I jumped in my seat, and so did my friend Nick, who I went to the movie with. And that was bad after I ate 2 whole chicken breasts at Wegmans before the press screening.
Weapons does a really good job at making you feel so bad for this town, and it's kind of like, actually kind of reminds me of Welcome to Derry too. It's about like a town that's just like has like this like malevolent thing that's happening.
Can you imagine a team up between Pennywise and the ant in this?
Apparently that wasn't even, the ending was supposed to be even like more wacky. I think it was going to be like the kid and main character, like the female main character, they were
Julia Garner's
Thank
character.
you. They were going to, I think, have like they're gonna take control over random people, like a bodybuilder and a cop. They were gonna take control of other people, and they were gonna fight the kids or fight like the witch. And they were like, wait, this is a little bit too crazy. Let's just have the kids attack the witch,
which was wild.
Yeah, that was so crazy. Just like the kids running through people's houses, like, what else got my window? Like, it was, that was so.
Story structure of this was fantastic. The slow transition of this movie from straight up horror to horror comedy was expertly done. Zach Krieger is something else.
Barbarian was a fantastic movie. This is a fantastic movie.
And he has a Resident Evil movie coming out this year, which is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it's like I wasn't expecting you to kind of follow, almost kind of like Greta Gerwig and Barbie, and she was like, I'm going to do Narnia. It's like, these are interesting follow-ups. Well,
the interesting thing is it's a wholly original story within the world of Resident Evil. So he has a lot of wiggle room to mess around with, and he's going to take it because that's what he does. And Julia Gardner, I love Josh Brolin in this. I love Josh Brolin in everything. We'll talk about more Josh Brolin later. But like, Weapons was insanely entertaining, and like, there's so many layers to what Zach Krieger's exploring in each of these characters. Oh, and God, Alden Ehrenreich and his mustache and that character. Crazy too.
Rough death with him too. That was a rough death.
Matt, late at night, always lock your car.
Yeah.
That scene, my theater were like,
that was probably the scariest. That was the scariest thing that I think that happened. No, actually, no. The second scariest thing that happened in that movie. Probably the most scary thing for me.
Basement.
Not even the basement. It was the monologue when the aunt was talking to the little boy, and she says, like, I can make your parents, like, blah, blah, blah. Like that's like I'm giving you all the reasons why you need to do what I'm telling whatever I say.
And justice for the sweetest gay couple in the history of movies.
Oh yeah,
That was brutal.
Really rough death. Yeah, it was really like inventive and disgusting and disturbing deaths.
Also, Benedict Wong memes everywhere. me running like it's 5 o'clock on a Friday at work, kind of stuff like that. Weapons was wild. That's going to be one of the most endlessly entertaining and rewatchable movies that came out this year for sure.
Definitely. All right, so my number 2 is Marty Supreme. Okay, so it was interesting because when I don't really get nervous about long run times. For people that do get nervous about long run times, like I hope that they give this film a try, especially because Timothy Chalamet's like press tour is like really something else. I don't know what the hell he's thinking or doing, but it's getting butts in seats because my theater was packed, like packed.
It's making money. It's going to wind up being the highest grossing A24 film ever, and it needs to because it's also the most expensive.
Got you.
It was more expensive than Civil War.
Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marty Supreme. It's interesting because when you watch a movie and you slowly start to realize, oh, I don't really think I should really be rooting for anyone because the tagline on the movie's poster is "Dream Big," but blind ambition when it's kind of just like, I'm not just dreaming. I have like all like these grand ideas of my future, but I care so solely about that than to the degree that other people around me are just kind of like tools or obstacles in my like actual people that that I have responsibilities for. That lady that he got pregnant, like all like this stuff. It's interesting watching a movie and realizing that there's not really someone that you are or should root for, but it is still interesting to kind of see like, is this person really going to crack whatever they want to crack, whatever dream that they have? Are they going to what are the lengths that are they going to go? And the lengths sometimes means that you were going to deal with like some pretty really bad people and do some bad stuff.
Yep.
The spanking thing. Yeah, it's crazy.
This movie, like, if you haven't experienced good time, uncut gems, and you go into this expecting some, like, rousing sports drama.
Nope.
No, this is, yet again, another scumbag, selfish person who has a singular drive towards a goal, running around New York City, screwing over every single human being that they know. And somehow, you still kind of want them to win. And
it's interesting because you know, like the moment that he makes that comment about another Jewish person, and it's kind of like whoa, like what? And he says it's okay, I could say that I'm also Jewish. And it's like what? And he says some pretty. I'm not even gonna say it, like repeat.
He says some inflammatory things.
Yeah, that's like
related to one thing you should probably never joke about.
Yeah.
But you know,
and he revisits that.
Yep.
About another group of people.
Does it again.
Yeah, bad.
Timothy Chalamet is incredible in this. The music, the score is so dynamic and interesting and unique, and the 80s needle drops. Also, that opening credit sequence has one of the most amazing edits and transitions from one thing to another.
And that was so weird. That was so weird. Into a golf ball. I mean, into a ping pong ball.
Yep.
It was so crazy.
Well, it's very representative of what the film is, man. The rest of the cast, Odessa A'zion is fantastic. Gwyneth Paltrow is probably the best I've seen her in a movie in a long time. I'm not the hugest Gwyneth Paltrow fan, but I thought she did her job well. The guy from Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, playing himself basically, does a good job. And you know, this film is so tense, so thrilling, non-stop. This is like, obviously Josh Safdie watched Scorsese's why am I blanking on the name of the movie? That one movie from the 80s that he made in New York, where it's just one crazy night. I'll get back to it. I'll remember. But like he watched that movie, and I'm like, I'm gonna make my whole career after that based off of this. And like this movie is impeccably shot. It looks incredible. The production design, the costume, all of it. And you know, I've seen a lot of people debating on how earned his growth is at the very end of the movie. But like somebody needed to smack this kid around and make him realize he needs to figure out his priorities.
That's a more hopeful interpretation of the ending than my takeaway was. I don't feel like he's. I feel like he's not. Well, I don't even want to say because people haven't seen the movie.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's
this
wild.
This was my number 10. This is quite the achievement, and most likely Timothée Chalamet's winning his first Best Actor award.
And how old is this guy?
30.
That's like really, really impressive.
Yeah.
I'm like so happy for this guy.
He's Eddie Redmayning it.
Like when I first saw
Except I think he's gonna continue to keep rising after this for sure.
Oh no, what was that? Kill the Wall? What was that?
Jupiter Ascending.
No, but
I have a sinking feeling that Mr. Chalamet's not going to pull a Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah. That's the follow-up to Marty Supreme.
Kill them all.
Well, I just remember when I first saw Lady Bird, and it was like this like random,
I hated
annoying
that
teenager.
Shit.
I don't believe in currency. Okay. And now he's this guy. It's fantastic. I'm happy for this.
Call Me by Your Name and Little Women and Beautiful Boy.
Oh, that was
Wonka.
wild. Yeah.
Dune. I'm Paul Atreides. But, and your number one.
My number one is Sinners.
As it should be. Also my number one.
Okay, so Sinners. It is my favorite movie experience of the year. It is my favorite because I thought the scene where time, kind of like the barriers of time and like eras of like genres of music and of cultures, because it's not multiple genres of music, it's also like different cultures, like everything's blending together. Everybody's
cultures within the space come, because you get the Chinese dancers and stuff like that. It's just like, it was a profound moment of cinema, and damn, it was great.
I've listened to that song so many, that and what was that? Well, that's where he's doing
the Irish folklore, the Irish folk music. That
I love that.
Jack O'Connell as Remick in this was amazing, and like I can't wait for him and his tracksuit mafia for 20 years later. Bone Temple. But no, like he's incredible. The mix of blues, and I'm a huge blues fan, so like I was eating this shit up. Even that scene where Delroy Lindo and Canton are playing together in the car. Oh, I was feeling the vibes, Matt, throughout this whole entire movie. The music's incredible. This ensemble's incredible. Like, Michael B. Jordan delivers two separate incredible performances. Two very distinct characters. Wunmi Osaku, who plays... is Smoke? His wife. My God, that was sexy. He wind up reconnecting, and like
Haley Steinfeld. I mean, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This movie is horny as hell too. On top of everything,
there were so many memes talking about that. Like, yeah, I didn't want to quote any, but yeah.
I want to taste you.
That was the
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, wow. But
wow.
Great.
And it's unabashedly sexual, which, like, that's the thing, like, vampires are inherently sexual. Like, vampire stories are, because, like, biting and sucking people's blood is just, like...
The hypnotism aspect of it as well.
Yeah, and there's a layer to that, and then... The setting, the music, the ensemble's incredible. The action is thrilling. Like when Remick goes full-blown vampire mode and he has that like piece of the guitar in his head, like the makeup and everything. And then the coda at the end. when Buddy Guy, actual blues legend, pops up like that. That
Scratch on his face.
tied it all up like so perfectly. I'm like, damn.
I have to say that there's a movie on your list that we'll get to that I wish is something that it did. Well, let me back up. So immediately when a certain group of people get blown away with a machine gun and a grenade,
That
and all
was
this other
amazing.
like it immediately made me think of the end of Inglourious Bastards when Hitler was getting he just got blown away. He just got blown away. I love that. Yeah, great. It was so great. Like it made me think. I guess the reason why I like that, A, just because like the action of it, but B, the idea of like some aspect of a system getting like truly destroyed. Like no one's like having a conversation, because you can't really have a conversation with like the people that Michael B. Jordan has to like dispose of. So instead, not that I'm like advocating for it, but also kind of you got to do what you have to do. So the fact that he
did what he had to do.
The fact that he did what he did, that was so cathartic. That was truly next to that scene where like the music and like the cultures are melding together. That was such a. It felt so good just to watch it. Like it made me kind of just like
goosebumps just thinking about this all.
Yeah, it was great. The movie's fantastic. It actually is scary. Also, it almost kind of like pulls like a From Dusk Till Dawn thing, where like it's seemingly about something, or at least a huge portion of the beginning of the movie is like featuring something, and then they get to a place, and then it's from there on out highly focused in that specific location.
Except this time it
like,
thematically makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of it being like this jarring
like From Dusk Till Dawn is a crazy fun genre movie that like surprises you. This is something that has like the reason that the vampires are there is so deeply meaningful and impactful, and it makes sense, and how they work the hive mindset of the vampires in this is so intriguing, and it's almost on like some level where you can understand why they want to all join together. Because like, why wouldn't you want to be with your whole family for forever? And then of course they want Miles Canton's character's
wants his music
to be able to live on with, because like it was very specific reason why they made that vampire Irish, and who has experienced oppression by the British and probably lost all of his family to all the stuff that happened to them. And there's something on a deeper level there. And God, that moment when Haley Steinfeld's walking back and you just see like lift off, I'm like, nope. The way they use the red eye.
Joe was telling me that's a reference
to Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, and it was, and it was effective. It was effective for sure, because death in that's terrifying. That wolf is terrifying, and Remick is terrifying in this. But like Jack O'Connell does such an amazing job. The whole entire cast is incredible in this movie. I really like. In a perfect world, I would love to see Delroy Lindo win Best Supporting Actor for this movie. But every year that category is just so stacked and challenging. But no, Sinners is amazing, and it's endlessly watchable. I've watched this 3 times already since this has come out. Once, oh God, I got to see this in Dolby too. That was amazing. That was great. And now I've watched it on 4K twice since then at home.
Nice.
So good. So worth it.
Yeah.
Well, my number 10 was Marty Supreme, so we already talked about that. My number 9 is Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, which should really be a Benoit Blanc mystery, but whatever, Netflix, you're dumb. But, one, the way that this navigates organized religion and faith in such a nuanced way, did not have that on my bingo card in 2025, because this really does. And this movie is a 2.5 hour movie, and I rewatched it last week, and it was moved so great still. It has great pace to it. It has such interesting things that how it navigates faith, and how it also navigates how people corrupt faith, and also this cult of personality that our society is obsessed with in the United States today. Because Jefferson Wicks, that character, Josh Brolin eats this shit up. And I loved him in this. When he has that mad Good Friday sermon was incredible. And the look, I love the running sexy priests. How this movie had 3 sexy priests because it had Josh Brolin, which the people out there that included him, they're like looking for daddy or something. But like Josh O'Connor is so good in this movie. He is funny. He's endearing. There's such a humanity to him. And then Benoit Blanc doesn't show up until like 45 minutes into this movie. And when he does, he arrives with a vengeance. Daniel Craig is so great in these movies. And he has growth in this. And there's so many layers with that. I will say, this probably isn't the most consistently interesting, deep character ensemble. But I love the cast. Because... well, Glenn Close is a really interesting addition in this movie, and she's fantastic. I love Thomas Hayden Church. He's in like a small role as like the groundskeeper and stuff. You have Jeremy Renner, Andrew Scott from Fleabag, the sexy priest thing. They had brought him into the cast too. It's just the ensemble's incredible. I love the use of lighting and how that's used symbolically throughout the film.
Oh, you remember? Like it was like the lighting was like turning down and then turning back up.
Yep.
Yeah, that was great.
The sun coming out through the stained glass windows and stuff like that. It's incredibly well shot. The score is always great. If I'm not mistaken, it's his cousin scores these movies, Rian Johnson. And Rian Johnson made just another great movie. I love this. I'm such a big fan of this series. I could be watching Benoit Blanc movies for forever. If they keep giving Daniel Craig $50 million a pop, and he actually enjoys making these, unlike the James Bond movies, I think he actually would, to be honest. So,
you know, I like the mystery, the idea of just like unraveling like what the actual hell is going on.
The impossible murder.
Yeah, that was
the impossible crime.
Oh man, it was a great movie. It was a great movie. I guess the only thing that I would say is like, I wonder how many years did it take between the previous movie and this one?
3?
3? So there's like potentially 3 more years till the next one.
Well, I think they're taking a break.
They're taking a break?
I think Rian Johnson's making something else.
Interesting. Oh,
because they only had a deal with Netflix for 2 sequels. And I'm really hoping that they take it elsewhere so it actually gets released in theaters. For like a sustained amount of time in like actual chain theaters too. I drove almost an hour and a half or so to go pick up my mother-in-law in a downpour and drive out to Oaks, Pennsylvania to go to the Oaks Center Cinema. And it was worth it though. Like getting to see this in a theater was so much fun. Could have drove into Philly, but I would have rather drive all the way out to Oaks. Number 8 is One Battle After Another. And this is probably going to win Best Picture. This is probably going to win Paul Thomas Anderson his Best Director Oscar. This movie is shockingly hilarious in many ways. It's very interesting context because this is about, like, the meaning of it's supposed to be about powerful black women from the perspective of a man married to a successful black woman. And Chase Infinity is a star-making performance out of her from this. Tiana Taylor is in it very little, but she steals that whole entire like first act of the movie. Leonardo DiCaprio, and like I've seen a lot of people starting to criticize like that whole entire "what time of day is it" joke lasted 30 minutes. I'm like, yeah, and it was freaking hilarious the whole entire time. Him being so high and burnt out from drugs, trying to remember all these secret passwords and stuff. It's just like, he was hilarious in this movie, and also in like you could feel the love. And every time I see somebody post a video of like he should win this Oscar just for the Mexican whistle that he does when he asks for directions and stuff like that. Benicio del Toro in this is a revelation. He just like shows up and like changes the movie.
He's my favorite thing in this film by
Sir,
far.
have you drank today? Just a few. A few what? A few small beers.
Yeah. Like it's just like the idea.
Sensei Sergio.
Yeah, like the idea of having like a I guess kind of like an underground railroad, but of well, I don't want to like say like too much, but just like the idea of that being depicted in the movie and a lot of other like pretty very current things being depicted inside of this movie. I don't know when this movie's actually set in the universe of it, but the idea of just
this is a good question.
Yeah.
I know it's not like current, if I'm not mistaken, because I think if you do the math, it doesn't take you up to like 2025. But
there's definitely still there are easily to understand parallels.
This is like uncomfortably relevant in 2025.
Yeah.
Sean Penn, the character work he does in this movie is next level. The walk, his thighs, like how muscular and awkward and weird he is. The tics with like his hair, like the constantly combing and so everything, and just the way he talks. It's like, Matt, some of this final dialogue in this movie, I lost it.
Yeah, this movie really goes for it. I guess for me, the only reason why I didn't because there were things in this movie I loved, like probably the ending. That
car chase was one of the coolest looking. Shot car chases I think I've ever seen in a movie.
Because I've been on like hilly like roads like that sort of. Obviously, never been speeding and no one's been chasing me.
Yeah,
but it made me think like I never thought about it. If someone were to just like suddenly stop, then
you're not gonna see that going.
Yeah, you wouldn't see that really. You'd be in like a really crappy position.
It's like it's ripped right out of like the Road Warrior, and there's multiple visual cues from like the Road Warrior during that, which is really cool, and that'll grab my attention.
Yeah, I guess like I feel like something that they did with the secret society stuff and Sean Penn's character, I wanted more, and I wanted something. I have my own feelings about kind of like what gets depicted and like with his character, and kind of I wish that the ending. What they didn't do in this movie is really like dismantling like something deeper than just kind of like one character or whatever, like one bad guy. When you're kind of like when you're kind of presented with one bad guy in front of like a group of other like terrible people, I kind of feel like they didn't really get touched in a way. And then I can't really like parallel that to like
but also
real life
like
in a cathartic way. And I kind of wanted them to kind of like.
Well, to be fair, in real life that shit does happen.
Also,
but
true. Also true.
She's taking the fight. She's doing the good fight at the end, and her dad's still getting high on the couch playing around with his iPhone.
Yeah, he's not Father of the Year, but he's definitely
he tries.
Well. He means well.
He means well, and he tries. And honestly, that's step one of being a good dad is try, because not every dad does that. I'm just gonna leave that there. Number 7, Sorry Baby. I love this movie.
So I didn't see this one. So tell me about it.
Basically, Ava Victor, who wrote this, directed this, and starred in it, their characters in college writing dissertation. It takes place in different times, but like this, at the end of the day, is about their character processing a sexual assault and like the ripple effects of that, the things that led up to that, how it changes their life. And it's such a powerful film through like this film is so idiosyncratic in that I feel like I understand Ava Victor as a person because of this movie. Because the whole entire tone, vibe, and everything feels like their personality. And I love their personality. I cannot wait to see what they do next. And I love following them on social media because their sense of humor is so funny and so specific. Their best friend in the films played Naomi Ackie. She's fantastic. Their dynamic, I love it. Lucas Hedges is a lot of fun in this movie as her neighbor.
In that?
Yeah,
nice.
He's her neighbor who yeah, they do stuff. And John Carroll Lynch pops up for one scene in this movie and steals the scene, and it's very funny. It's actually really incredibly filmed and put together. The cinematography and the choices that Ava Victor makes in terms of telling the story visually is really interesting. There's a scene with a sequence with a cat that's the most adorable thing that's happened in a movie I've seen all year. And it's very profound in terms of their expression of their worldview and how they navigate the situation and how it's still there. The hurt and the pain is still there, but how they move on and don't let it get in the way of them living their life and being successful. And it's just great seeing how this character's life comes together, how it does in this film. And this is hour and 40 minutes. And I rewatched this last week too, and it just made me so happy the second time around. I appreciate that it doesn't pull punches in terms of what it's trying to navigate through, but it has so much genuine personality and humanity about it. So, nice. Yeah. This was a random press screening I went to at the end of June or something, and it struck me. It hit a very special place. So, and it's on HBO Max, so you can go check it out. Next up, number 6, No Other Choice. The film that I really hope wins Best International Film this year. Mm-hmm. Park Chan-wook, the creator of Oldboy and of The Handmaiden, 2 films I absolutely love. Mm-hmm. And here, we literally just watched it. Mm-hmm. I've watched this movie 3 times now, and I'm probably going to be watching it a 4th time potentially at my Oscar party, depending on what people nominate and if it gets nominated for Best Picture. Byung-hun Lee plays a man who's been working in paper for years, gets laid off from his job, and he has no other choice but to kill all of his competition for another job. Because there's no other choice, man.
It's as wacky as that. Just the premise is what
this movie is so darkly funny. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly shot. There's so many interesting visual choices that Wook makes throughout this film. How it navigates the space and how these characters engage with each other. How it's shot. How it's paced. There's slapstick comedy. There's really awkward, uncomfortable comedy. It's a strange mix of a crime thriller and a Charlie Chaplin movie. In a strange kind of way. And just the way that this film navigates this, and it's challenging to process, what this film's trying to say. And it really comes down to, it's our lives are not defined by what happens to us. It's defined by how we react to what happens to us. And there's always another choice. Mm-hmm. Despite the fact that none of the men in this movie act like there is. Mm-hmm. And I think, what did I say was the moral of the story of this movie is, don't kill people and sleep with your wives.
Yeah, maybe pay more attention to your family and your relationship and less on murder?
This movie's unhinged. It is a wild movie, and it's a 2-hour and 20-minute movie, but I could watch this again and again. Mm-hmm. I've already watched it a few times. I've watched this I've watched Sinners 3 times, but I've watched this movie 3 times in a month and a half. So there you go.
Yeah, that was a great movie. I feel something that was surprising to me was just the how funny and inept he is at being a killer.
There's one sequence where he's trying to kill a man and the wife intervenes, and that scene is so incredible, from the staging to the music to how the music is confusing and interrupting in the situation, and the physical comedy that's going on throughout the whole entire thing, and how shocking it all resolves. And then how funny it is as it gets to the end of the sequence. It was wild. This movie's wild.
Yeah.
Next up is number 5, The Life of Chuck.
Again, I didn't see this one.
This movie is... I walked out and I gave a one-word reaction to like the PR person. I was like, profound. Like, I had a profound experience watching this film. It is told in 3 acts in reverse. And the first act is one of the most mysterious, strange, unexpected things that I've watched in a movie in a long time. And how it recontextualizes everything. The second act has one of the most cathartic music dance numbers I think I've watched in a movie in a long time. And then so much joy and emotion came rushing into me in the third part of this movie. Nick Offerman narrates the whole thing. Great choice. The kid that plays young Chuck is incredible. Tom Hiddleston's not in this movie very often, so don't expect to see him a ton in this movie if you're going to watch it. But Mike Flanagan found real heart. This was because I've only seen him do horror movies. He's literally only done horror films, and I just think that Mike Flanagan and Frank Darabont are the 2 filmmakers and Rob Reiner, rest in peace, are the 3 filmmakers that truly understood how to adapt a Stephen King work. Like, if I'm going to pick a director, it's going to be one of the 3 of them, because whether it's Stand By Me or Misery for Rob Reiner, or Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile and The Mist, Frank Darabont, and then now between Dr. Sleep and this, love Dr. Sleep. Mike Flanagan showed that he could do different things. And this film is weird, it's unexpected. Chuck's grandmother is played by the actress who plays Sloane in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And she hasn't acted in a long time, and she just hooked me with this. And some people are going to say this is cheesy and ridiculous and whatever. Okay, go be miserable. And be negative. This was just a wonderful experience, and there's some truly haunting moments in it, and you can feel that in the atmosphere of it, but would recommend. Cool. It's also in that neon pack that I have.
Nice.
A lot of neon. Neon had a lot of great films they distributed this year. My number 4 is Hamnet. You want to cry? You want to cry?
Jesse Buckley and
Paul Mescal.
Paul Mescal.
Oh my God! This movie is beautiful. It is striking with its cinematography. The amount of detail in the sound editing and mixing of nature is gorgeous. The music is so affecting. Jessie Buckley, who I've been a humongous fan of since Wild Rose, where she played a young aspiring country western singer from Glasgow. She is on another level in this movie. The amount of joy and suffering and sadness that she has to convey through this film, and the physicality. There's birthing scenes in this where she goes for it. Because this film is about the death of William Shakespeare's child and what that causes, and the grief that she shows. There's some moments Paul Mescal really stands out too, and the reaffirming power of art is such a big part of this. This is a gorgeous film. Chloe Zhao came back with a vengeance because, I love The Rider, her first feature film, and Nomadland's kind of dissipated from my memory, to be perfectly honest, in the past 5 years. And I think people hated on Eternals way too hard. But, she came back with a vengeance with this film and delivered something so powerful and beautiful. You could hear a symphony of sniffles throughout the whole entire, after people were bawling their eyes out multiple times throughout this film, including Jess, my wife. Between this and The Long Walk, I felt so bad the amount of crying that she did in the theater. But this is a profound and beautiful film, so would recommend.
Nice.
And number 3 was The Long Walk, so we talked about that. Number 2 is the weirdest one on this list, and probably one that most people haven't heard of, which is Guy Ban's Resurrection. This film, Resurrection, is the most, cinephile-y movie on my list, and one of the most idiosyncratic, and I can guarantee you most mainstream audiences would not want to watch this movie. But this is a 2 hour and 40-minute science fiction film about different dream worlds that accentuate the different senses of humanity. And that sounds like such a pretentious and weird thing to say, but like the whole opening sequence of this is one of the most impressively rendered German expressionist pieces of visual storytelling I've seen since like actual German expressionism. And I was just sitting watching this, I'm like, what the I'm like I'm intrigued. Like and it never let me go. The visuals, the sound design, the music, the acting, just the whole entire vibes of this movie is so unique and interesting. I don't know how much more I can say about it because it's such a very specific experience that I feel like you kind of have to experience. If any of this sounded interesting to you, check it out. If it doesn't, then you probably won't like this movie. So I'm going to leave it at that. But then my number one was Sinners. So.
Because Sinners is great.
Because Sinners is great. Mm-hmm. And that has been my number one since it overtook Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. Which is also one of my highest honorable mentions because that movie is perfect.
That's so funny.
I've watched that movie 3 or 4 times this year, but to be fair, that's only an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, imagine that as like a double feature.
You know, I just sat through Guy Band's Resurrection for 2 hours and 40 minutes. True cinephile, time to watch Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. To be fair, move over Remick, the most dastardly villain in all of cinema this year, was Feathers McGraw. I'm not even joking, to be perfectly honest. I think I did actually watch this movie 4 times this year. Technically it came out in the UK 2024, but this came out New Year's Day 2025. So for me, it's a 2025 film. It was nominated for animated feature last year, so it can't be included, but like this is my number one animated movie of this year. But just throwing out some of my honorable mentions, Sentimental Value, It Was Just an Accident are 2 of the biggest international films out there. Tatami, which is a film that's going to fly completely under the radar, which is about a Iranian judo competitor who gets in this really tight situation where the Iranian government wants her to pretend to be injured so she doesn't have to fight the Israelis in the finals. And she has this like Sophie's choice of like putting her country behind, like betraying her country and competing in this tournament. And what the ramifications of that could be. Wallace and Gromit. 2,000 Meters to Andreevka is one of the most haunting documentaries I've watched in a long time. That's about the war in Ukraine. Predator Badlands, that Billy Joel documentary that came out on HBO, that 5-hour one, was incredible. Weapons is up there, a bunch of documentaries. I have to... Quick shout out to 28 Years Later, which I absolutely loved, and Train Dreams, which is a haunting, one of the most beautiful films I've seen in a long time. So,
sure.
What were your honorable mentions?
Let me see. We have Caught Stealing. What was that, Aronofsky?
Loved that movie. That is one of the most entertaining, thrilling, crazy rides, and I love Liev Schreiber and Vincent D'Onofrio as those Hebrew gangsters.
Rabbis,
yeah. So good.
That was great. Black Phone 2. That was a fantastic
that movie. When I heard they were making a sequel, I'm like, to what? Mm-hmm. And then that movie blew me away. Ethan Hawke in maybe 15 minutes of screen time in the movie. Great. And Gwendolyn something. I'm trying to remember what the young actress's name. She's one of my favorite characters in horror movies, period, because she is so much fun. And that movie kicked ass. I love that so much. Great sequel.
Next one is Materialists. Same director as Past Lives.
Yep.
That was a great movie because I think if anybody decided to watch it with their partner, the car ride home must have been riveting.
Well, Matt, I saw that with Jess and Haley. So we had a very interesting conversation about that.
Yeah, is the ending actually a good thing? Like, do these people that are incredibly different, should they go together? Like, should they kind of because the main character, what's the female main character's name? 50 Shades of Grey. What's her name?
Oh, I thought it was... I saw, with Jess and Haley, I saw Past Lives. I saw Materialist by myself. Dakota Johnson.
Oh, Dakota Johnson. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Dakota Johnson. The idea of like her having kind of like a pretty good understanding, or at least what she thinks was a good understanding of human behavior, and almost have like an internal algorithm of how people work, and for her to kind of like take that and throw that away fully in order to embrace her relationship with Chris Evans. Then
I thought was great.
Yeah,
in this,
it's like an interesting idea of like maybe you shouldn't have thrown that whole thing away.
I have become a huge Dakota Johnson fan at this point. I have gone beyond 50 Shades of Grey and stuff. She's pulling a Robert Pattinson and a Kristen Stewart, like shunning those movies that thought they were going to define their careers, and they're like, I don't know if she's quite on the same level of dynamic acting as the two of them are yet, but like anytime Dakota Johnson pops up in something, I really enjoy her now. And Pedro Pascal delivered something very different and interesting in his performance. He is not in the movie as much as you probably think he would be.
Yeah, you think it's like a three-hander, but it's
not.
No.
But I think the character he portrays is very interesting and unique, and his presentation of them is very interesting.
Yeah, and I guess the last one I would say is Thunderbolts. The idea of Marvel, the MCU tackling mental health is
in a meaningful way.
Yeah, in like a respectful, deep way, and it's still in a PG-13 movie that markets itself to kids, or at least sort of anyway. Yeah, that was
that
great.
Ended in a hug. Yeah. That actually felt earned and actually impactful.
Like the embodiment of depression being your big bad. Okay.
Florence Pugh is so damn good as Yelena, and her and David Harbour's relationship in this, so good. And I she didn't get a ton to do, but I liked what they did with Ghost. Bucky honestly got a lot less to actually do in this movie than I thought that he actually would. But like Wyatt Russell was really good in this too. Let's pour one out for Taskmaster.
Who? Like
who? And Bob. Like, good. That was supposed to be Steven Yeun, who had to pull out of the project. And Louis Pullman just dropped right in there and was so good in this. I can't wait to see Bob again in Avengers Doomsday.
When he said, I was on meth, don't judge me. That's a crazy sentence. That's a crazy
in
sentence.
In a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Like, that, like, the whole third act, like, them going into the Void. The Void stuff, like, that little girl disappeared. I'm like, what the shit? Like, this had some moments where I'm like, this is a Marvel movie? Like, I think in hindsight, this probably is my favorite comic book movie of the year. Originally, I had Fantastic Four First Steps higher, but I think this is going to age so well because there are so many interesting layers to that.
It goes out on a limb, and even though, and I feel like I'm not sure exactly why Eternals going out on a limb didn't earn it respect, but this movie
I think
did.
The characters were less interesting. I think like the characters in this movie, and there were less of them. Eternals was a big order to try to like cram in that many characters in that kind of way. This, well, one, as somebody who's watched literally the whole entire MCU, so like I already had all the backstory and baggage of all these characters, so I was more invested than most people. But like I think they did a really good job of realizing each of these characters in this movie. Except for maybe Bucky. Honestly, I think he was kind of just there. But I don't think that, like, that's more of like, as a fan of the MCU, I don't think that had any bearing on the movie, to be perfectly honest. I think it worked perfectly fine as is. And this brought me back to like the Guardians. Like, it's a bunch of B, C, D listers thrown together, and they made a great team and an interesting dynamic. And God, the new Avengers is going to be very interesting in how they go toe-to-toe with like the actual Avengers in Doomsday, which, you know, has Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Ant-Man, Shang-Chi, you know, people with powers.
Mm-hmm.
And then have to go against Doom.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the most because like they're obviously not putting any spotlight on them with any of these teasers that they've been doing, because they've done the Captain America teaser, the Thor teaser, the X-Men teaser, and now they did a Wakandan and Fantastic Four teaser. I'm like, where's the new Avengers? Or actually, yeah, where's the new Avengers? I'm actually really intrigued to see how they fit into all of that, but, you know, I could talk about that for hours, and that's a whole different video. But yes, Thunderbolts was a great time, too. But, Matt, so was this. It's always great doing this every year, and I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
And thank all of you out there for always tuning in every year, and every video, whatever the hell, however you support your Wasteland reviewer.
Bye, guys.